I was actually early, but by habit, I put it on my Sidnim Shul account. I'm wondering why nobody here. I realized. Sorry. Okay. Share screen. Let's get the screen share on. Give me a moment. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Right. All set. Ready to roll, guys?
Yep.
Good.
Okay, here we go. So I gave a bit of a teaser in my reminder, which was how come some Hebrew months have 29 days and some have 30 days. So let's look at the solar calendar for a moment. Solar calendar is 365 days, and some months, 30 days, have September, April, June, and November. I think that's how we were taught as kids. So some months have 30 days, some months have 31 days. If you divide 365 by 12, you get 30.416 or something. So if you have 30 days and 31 days, then you get to 365. Similarly, in the Jewish calendar, which is a lunar calendar, not completely a lunar calendar, as we discussed last week. It was my privilege last week. We spoke about this idea of lunar calendar, which still takes into consideration the solar calendar. That's why we have leap years 7 times in the 19-year cycle of the Hebrew calendar. But basically, it's a lunar calendar. So let's say we have 354 days. So there's an 11-day gap. We spoke about this last week. But 354 days of the Hebrew year divided by 12 gives you 29.5. Now, we'll learn now that we cannot have Rosh Chodesh beginning at 12 o'clock noon or something. That would be chaos, that the morning is one month and the afternoon is the next month. So we'll soon learn that it has to be a full day. So therefore we have, roughly speaking, and we'll go into more detail just now, I'm just giving a bit of an intro. You can't have 29.5 days to the month. So if you have 6 months are 30 days and 6 months are 29 days, that's the equivalent of having 12 months of 29.5 days. So 6 times 29 plus 6 times 30 equals 354. So that's how we get the Jewish calendar year to be 354 days, although there are exceptions, which we'll soon discuss. And therefore, 6 months are 29 days and 6 months are 30 days. Okay, now let's go into the text. Kiddush HaChodesh, the sanctification of the new moon, chapter 8, halacha number 1. A lunar month, as I said, is 29 and a half days and 793 units. So it's not exactly 29.5. It is impossible for Rosh Chodesh to begin in the middle of the day, that a portion of the day would be part of the previous month and a portion of the day the following month. Besides it being impractical, we also have a scriptural reason why it cannot be that way. It says, Ad Chodesh Yamim, Book of Numbers, for a month of days, which according to the to the Gemara in Megillah teaches us to mean that you count the days of a month, the days of a month. You don't count the hours of a month. So a month has to start at the beginning of the day or the night before. It has to be a full day. It can't be a half a day. Therefore, number two, some lunar months are established as lacking a day. That'll be a 29-day month. Is called choser in Hebrew, or lacking. And others are full, mole, which will be a 30-day month. A month that is lacking is 29 days. Full month is 30 days. As I said, it's not exactly. And so that's how you calculate it. Number three, if a lunar month were exactly 29 and a half days long, the years would be divided evenly into full and lacking months, and there'd be exactly 354 days in a lunar year every single year. So 6 full months and 6 lacking months, that'll be perfect and simple. But it is the units that exist in every month that exceed the half day, which if you go over a number of years, ultimately will add up to hours and days. And because it's not 29.5 exactly, but there's a fraction over there, therefore, if you add that up in a number of years, it'll cause certain years to have more lacking months than full months, and other years to have more full than lacking. So it's not always going to be 6 and 6. Sometimes it'll be 7 and 5 this way, sometimes it'll be 5 and 7 the other way. So according to this reckoning, number 4, the 30th day of the month is always established as Rosh Chodesh. So day 30 is always Rosh Chodesh. If the month is lacking, that means the month that's coming to an end will only have 29 days. So the 30th day will be Rosh Chodesh of the coming month. So for example, this week, on Shabbos, we blessed the new month of Shvat. Even if we didn't have shul, we still blessed it at home. And what did we announce? Rosh Chodesh Shvat Yiyeh B'Yom, I hope you said it on Shabbos at home, B'Yom HaChamishi. Rosh Chodesh Shvat is this week on Thursday. And it's one day Rosh Chodesh, only Thursday. So if you look at your calendar, the month of Tevet, which is coming to an end, today is the 27th of Tevet. Remember last week when I gave the shir, it was the 20th of Tevet, which is the yahrzeit of the Rambam, we mentioned it. Today is the 27th of Tevet. So in 3 days' time, on Thursday, will be the 30th, but it won't be the 30th of Tevet, it'll be the 1st of Shvat. Tevet will this year have only 29 days. I think actually it always has 29 days. We'll soon discuss that. And Shvat will have 1 day Rosh Chodesh, which will be Thursday. If the month, the second paragraph here in number 4, if the month is full, that means if theoretically this month of Tevet would have 30 days, a full month, then the 30th day will be Rosh Chodesh, since a portion of it is fit to be Rosh Chodesh, right? 29 and a half days. Nevertheless, it will be counted as the completion of the previous month, which was full. The 31st day also will be Rosh Chodesh, and the reckoning of the days of the coming month will start from it. It is the day established as Rosh Chodesh. So when you have a month of 30 days, day 30 is still the last day of the previous month, but it's called Rosh Chodesh. It's called the first day of Rosh Chodesh. And the next day is the first day of the next month, and that's called the second day Rosh Chodesh. Okay, so if you have a lacking month, a month of 29 days, so there's 29 days to the month, and the next day is the first day of the new month, and there's 1 day Rosh Chodesh. If you have a full month of 30 days, then day 30 is the last day of the month that's coming to an end. But because part of that day is already Rosh Chodesh, so it's called Rosh Chodesh, even though it's the last day of the previous month, and it's the first day of Rosh Chodesh, and the next day of Rosh Chodesh, the second day of Rosh Chodesh, will be the first day of the next Hebrew month. Is that clear, or do we need to repeat that? Are you with me?
Yep, fine.
Because this is very confusing. I'm often asked this question throughout the year by different people. In shul, what's going on here? 29 days, 30 days, 2 days Rosh Chodesh, 1 day Rosh Chodesh. I hope I've explained it now so that it's clear to everybody. If not, feel free to ask.
Thanks.
I have not muted everyone, so you're welcome to ask. Thus, according to this calculation, there are some months that have only 1 day Rosh Chodesh and other months that have 2 days. Number 5. The following is the order of the full and lacking months according to our fixed calendar. So there are certain months, he's going to tell us now, that are always full, always 30 days. Certain months that are always lacking, always 29 days. And certain months that can go either way. They fluctuate. So Tishrei is always full. Tevet, this month that is coming now to an end, is always lacking. It's always 29 days, which means that Shvat will always have 1 day Rosh Chodesh. From Tevet on, there is one full month and one lacking month in sequence. So it alternates, full, lacking, full, lacking. Meaning, what is implied? Tevet is lacking, Shvat is full. So this month was lacking, next month we'll have 30 days. Adar is lacking, 29 days. Nisan is full, 30 days. Iyar is lacking, Sivan is full. Tammuz is lacking, Av is full. Elul is lacking. And we said Tishrei is always full. Now, sometimes you have a leap year, and you have 2 Adars. In a leap year, the first Adar is full, and the second Adar is lacking. So these are certain rules that are fixed and built into our fixed calendar for posterity. We've left 2 months out that we have not mentioned in the aforementioned halacha, and those 2 months that we have not mentioned are Mar Cheshvan, the month after Tishrei, Rosh Hashanah, and Kislev, the month in which Hanukkah falls on the 25th. Sometimes they are both full, sometimes they are both lacking, and sometimes Mar Cheshvan is lacking and Kislev is full. So these are fluctuating months, and it all depends on how the calculations go. A year in which both of these months are full is called a year of complete months. Chadosheho Shleimim in Hebrew. A year in which both these months are lacking is called Chaserim. Chadosheho Chaserim. Lacking months. A year which Macheshvan is lacking and Kislev is full is called a year whose months proceed in order. Chadosheho Kisidron. They go in order because they alternate, full, lacking, full, lacking, full, lacking. 7. Now he's going to tell us some tricks of how to calculate the calendar. I don't think any of you are really, I don't know, maybe some of you are into this stuff. Maybe there's some real mathematicians or actuaries in our midst here today who are into this stuff. It's not one of my fortes, to be honest. So, but he's going to give us the way that the rabbis of old would calculate it, year by year, before the calendar was fixed. So the way to know whether the months of a year will be lacking, will be complete, or go in order, meaning alternating, is as follows. First, determine the day on which Rosh Hashanah will fall in the year about whose months you desire to know, as explained in chapter 7. You did this yesterday. Then determine the day on which Rosh Hashanah will fall in the year that follows. So you look at Rosh Hashanah the one year, and let's say Rosh Hashanah this year and Rosh Hashanah next year. Then count the number of days between them. In other words, let's say Rosh Hashanah falls on one day of the week this year, and then 2 or 3 days later in the next year. That number of days between when Rosh Hashanah fell on the one year and Rosh Hashanah falls on the next year, that will be the determining factor which will give you the answers to the questions of what kind of calendar it will be with the months lacking or full. If there are only 2 days between them, the months of the year will be lacking. If there are 3 days between them, it will proceed in order. If there are 4 days between them, the months of the year will be complete. Now, I think you may have learned already that there are certain rules in the calendar. Rosh Hashanah, we have a mnemonic in Hebrew, Lo Adu Rosh. That Rosh Hashanah, cannot fall on Adu. Have you learned this? I think I mentioned it. What is Adu? Aleph, Dalid, Vov. Aleph is 1, i.e. the first day of the week. Dalid is 4, i.e. the fourth day of the week, Wednesday. And Vov is 6, i.e. the sixth day of the week, Friday. Rosh Hashanah, first day, will never fall on Sunday, Wednesday, or Friday. There are reasons why it was calculated this way. It has to do with Yom Kippur and so on. So, number 8, when the year in question is an ordinary year. When, however, the year in question is a leap year, then different rules apply. If there are only 4 days between the day on which Rosh Hashanah is established in the leap year and the day on which it was established in the following year, the months of the year will be lacking. If there are 5 days between, then it will proceed in order. If there are 6 days between them, the months of the year will be complete. Number 9, what is implied? If we desire to know the order of the months of the present year, we know the following: Rosh Hashanah falls on Thursday. It is an ordinary year, and the following Rosh Hashanah falls on Monday. So how many days between Thursday and Monday? Friday, Shabbos, and Sunday. So you have a total of 3 days between the days when Rosh Hashanah fall in the 2 consecutive years. And then the months of the year proceed in order, meaning full, lacking, full, lacking. If Rosh Hashanah falls on Tuesday in the following year, so it fell on Thursday this year and Tuesday next year, the months of the year will be complete. Then there's 4 days between. If it falls on Shabbos in this year and Tuesday the following year, so then it's only 2 days in between, Sunday and Monday, only 2 days in between, then the months of the year will be lacking. Similar concepts should be applied regarding the calculation of a leap year, as was explained. So for those of you who are interested in these calculations, there you have the trick, the principle, and the rules of calculation. This is what the great rabbis of old, who established when would be a leap year before the calendar was fixed, they would sit, as we discussed last week, they would sit and work out, should we make a leap year this year, should we not, and so on. So this was all part of their calculations. They were great mathematicians and great astronomers, besides great Talmudic scholars. Number 10, there are certain indications upon which one can rely, so that one will not err regarding the calculation of the order of the months of the year. These principles are based on the fundamental principles of the fixed calendar and the determination of the days on which Rosh Hashanah will be established, and those will cause it to be postponed, as we explained previously. Whenever Rosh Hashanah is celebrated on a Tuesday, the months of the year will proceed in order. This applies regardless if it's an ordinary year or a leap year. When Rosh Hashanah is celebrated on Shabbos or on a Monday, the months of the year will never proceed in order. And the following rules apply when Rosh Hashanah falls on a Thursday. If it's an ordinary year, it's impossible for the months to be lacking. If it's a leap year, it's impossible for its months to proceed in order. Okay, so this really is something that the average person doesn't have to worry their heads about. I certainly haven't worried my head about these calculations, but there you have it if you're interested. And the bottom line is that we have, okay, so now I wanted to just add that what the Rambam explains and what we learn elsewhere is that although we generally say that a lunar year is 354 days, in fact, that's the average lunar year. But sometimes it can be 353 days, and sometimes it could be 355 days. So we said that sometimes there's 2 months that can go either way. If they're both full, then it'll be a longer month. If they're both short, it'll be a shorter month. So it's 354 is the average, but occasionally you get the exception of a 353 day or a 355 day Hebrew calendar year. Of course, if it's a leap year, then you have to add 29 or 30 days. So 354 plus 30 is 384, but sometimes it could be 383 or 385 in a leap year as well. Okay, so I hope this has clarified some of the very frequently asked questions that rabbis get about the Jewish calendar. Why is some days 29, some days 30? Why there's some days 1 day Rosh Chodesh, 2 days Rosh Chodesh? What's going on? Can't we get our act together? We got our act together very, very, very punctiliously, I assure you. And this is very, very well calculated, and it's very deliberate. Any questions?
Just a statement, please, Rabbi. Just
Yes,
to
sir.
say thank goodness we've got printed calendars with everything already worked out for us.
So don't thank the hypermarket or Kosher World. Who publishes the calendars in Cape Town?
Chabad.
Chabad, okay. So you can thank Chabad and Kosher World and everybody, but at the end of the day, you have to thank Hillel the Elder, who lived many centuries ago in Talmudic times, and he fixed the calendar for posterity, so we have it easy today. We don't need actuaries or accountants.
Yeah. Thank you, Hillel.
Any other questions, comments?
Fascinating. Thank you, Rabbi.
Have you all got a new calendar?
Yes.
Yes.
No, not yet. I must get one.
Must get one. Every Jewish home should have what we call a luach. Luach is the Hebrew word for a calendar, and it's very good and useful and helpful, and I would think actually imperative for every Jewish home to have a Jewish calendar, a Hebrew English calendar, so you know when it's Rosh Chodesh and when it's Yom Tov and candle lighting times. All these things are usually in the calendar. So wherever you are in the world, find out where you can get a calendar. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to offer calendars, but they are available in different organizations and shops. So please, wherever you are, please help yourselves. And every year, really, you should have in your home a Jewish calendar.
I'll get one from shul when we go back again.
Well, I don't know. Not every shul gives out calendars, so find out from your shul. But in the meantime, as I say, certain organizations, Chabad in Cape Town, I'm told, and I know I have one here from Kosher World in Johannesburg. I think they give it out free. But wherever you get it from, please, that's a very strong recommendation that it should be something in every Jewish home. Hang it on your kitchen wall and consult it on a regular basis, so you're on the right page.
Yeah, I'm with Rabbi Darren, so we will have there. I must just have a look.
Okay, tell Rabbi Darren, his father-in-law said he must get you a calendar.
I'll send a message. Thanks, Rabbi.
Okay, you got protection, okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
sei
you.
gesund, everybody. Have a great
Bye-bye.
week.
Thank you.
And a good Chodesh for Rosh Chodesh, which is on Thursday.
It's tough.
God bless. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.